grade science. This week we'll be talking about scientific investigations. Mrs. Grove, Miss Bennett, and I will be working together to do a science experiment.
So last week I saw that the salt I put into a pot of boiling water dissolved at a rapid rate, and I started to wonder, would it change for other temperatures of water?
So we designed an experiment to test that out. First, we had to figure out the question we wanted the answer to. Will salt dissolve at different rates based on the temperature of the water?
Then we agreed on what we think will happen. If we put the salt in 3 different temperatures of water, then it will dissolve at different rates.
We then designed what our experiment would look like. We will have 3 separate temperatures of water, cold, warm, and hot. Then we will put the same amount of salt in each one and stir for 20 seconds. We will then write down the observations that we see. We will repeat this 3 times.
Once we had all of that, we had to gather our materials. So we decided on having 3 beakers, 1 for each temperature of water. We'll need a ½ tablespoon of salt to put in each beaker. We will need 400 milliliters of water to put in each beaker. So we'll have 1 beaker with 70-degree water, 1 beaker with 100-degree water, and another beaker with 130-degree water. We'll also need some spoons for stirring, and we'll need a digital thermometer.
Okay, it's finally time to get started.
Yay!
Yay!
All right, so I'm starting off by testing the water that is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So I've got my water and I'm gonna pour it in, making sure that I stop at 400 milliliters. All right, now I'm gonna get my salt in, and I'm adding a ½ of a tablespoon of salt. Okay. Now it's time to start stirring. Okay, does Miss Wood have the timer ready?
All right, get started.
Okay. Interesting.
Time's up.
Okay.
Okay, I have the water that is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna do the same thing Mrs. Grow did and pour it to 400 milliliters. It's important to make sure that all the water is the same. Then I'm going to add a ½ tablespoon of salt. Pour it in. And whenever Miss Grow is ready to start the timer,
All right, go for it. Time's up.
awesome.
And now it's time for the 130-degree water. I'm going to do the same thing as Mrs. Grow and Miss Wood and pour in the water to 400. Again, keeping it consistent every time we do it, and then ½ a tablespoon of salt. And our timer is ready.
Go.
Wow, hope you see what I see.
Stop.
There you go.
Now that we've conducted our experiment, let's go over our observations. Remember, sometimes data can be numbers, but for today, we're just using our sight.
I noticed that the cold water had a lot of salt crystals left after it was stirred for 20 seconds.
Me too. I also saw that the hot water was perfectly clear and there wasn't any salt left over.
Great, so our observations sound like they were pretty similar. So we know that we had a successful experiment.
Yay! Let's go over our conclusion statement. Based on our observations today, hot water dissolves salt at a much faster rate than warm and cold water. This proves our prediction to be correct.
Awesome! Let's review some key terms from today's experiment.
At the beginning of our time together, we created a question based on information that we had previously observed on our own. Then we made an educated guess about what we thought would happen. We call this our hypothesis.
We determined that we were going to change one thing, the temperature of the water. This is called the independent variable. We kept everything else, like the amount of water, the amount of salt, and how long we stirred the water, the same. We call this the constants or controls.
Our dependent variable changed because of the independent variable. In our experiment, it was how fast the salt dissolved in the different temperatures of water.
Our data was based on observing what we saw during our experiment. We recorded what we noticed, making this qualitative data because we didn't use numbers. If we would have used numbers, it would have been quantitative data.
And just like that, our experiment and our time together today is through. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye!